sword fight, fight, fight. Monkey sword fight, fight, fight. Monkey sword fight, fight, fight. Monkey sword fight, fight, fight.
All over that shit.
Yeah, I see it on the Twitter. It's like, this one's good, getting notes of like this and that, and the next thing I'm like, on you go, mate.
I was actually horrified when I looked at my Twitter a few weeks ago.
Just as to how many other
Went
people.
back through the history and it was like, God, there are no actual tweets on here. It's all just beer.
Still one of the most engaged with ones on my timeline. Like, oh, nice. I'll stop and have a look. Never
Okay.
catch my eye when I start doing. I want to see that YouTube channel. Tosh drinks beer and Andy Mac unboxes things. Your Instagram where you
While
find.
drinking beers with him.
Yeah. Crossover episode.
Be brilliant.
Fuck out of that. I said that as well. I've got a pal of mine, really talented artist called Georgina, and she's always putting up stuff on her Instagram story about weirdos send her messages, and like some of the things are amazing. Like fucking, I would watch that YouTube channel all day. Like Gina talks to perverts. Like,
Bet you would.
first time, long time. How are you? Decent.
You'd be one of the stars.
Okay. I'd be the most blocked. No, she's a good friend. Hi, Georgina. Don't think she ever listen to this, but Bestie kens her as well.
Everybody knows Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
How good was that? I remember you done that at Blend in Dundee.
I did.
Yeah, she was like, oh my God. Hi, Rachel.
It had to be done.
Oh, man, it was tremendous. She was giving me her feedback on last week's show. No, last week's show. Fuck me, he's up my arse, boys. I won't lie to you.
We'll get that into feedback.
Let's do it.
There's been a lot going on since we were last here, so.
Oh, let's get into it then. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Perth's Premier Podcast, Monkey Sword Fight, with me, your host, Jordan Patrick, and my co-host, Andy Mac on the ones and twos.
What's happening?
How you doing, mate?
I'm good. What are you saying now?
I'm no bad, man. Aye, we are without Mr. Michael Doss. He's out there getting that bread.
He's out earning that paper, son.
Kent, doing what we need to do. However, we are joined by a very special guest host. We talked about this before. Comic book enthusiast, rookie blogger, future Dundee Hurricanes Hall of Famer, offensive tackle centre extraordinary, long snap machine, beer connoisseur.
Oh, no, therein lies the story.
One of my very, very good friends, good friend of the show, Mr. Stephen Tosh. How are you, mate?
I am tired.
We'll get into for a while.
There was a proper Hurricanes night out over the weekend, and I'm still recovering. But other than that, I'm fine.
Excellent.
Excited to be here.
Fuck aye. We're excited to have you here, man. Literally, we worked out that Mike couldn't make it tonight, and it was literally like, who should we get on? And it was either you or Paul. And I messaged you both at the same time.
Did I just win the response?
Yeah, man, but I guess this is the other good bit of feedback. Megan was asking me, who have you got on the night? It was Stosh. Went, oh, really? And she was fucking, but she might actually listen to another episode other than the one with Rachel on it, so.
Oh, wow. I'm
high
honoured.
praise indeed.
Sarah might actually listen to this one, she says. So.
Mike,
Mike.
don't ever hold out for your girlfriend or your wife
no.
actually listening to this. Megan said,
I did tell her the thing Megan said about you being away for work. It's like, I missed him so much, I almost listened to his podcast. She thought that was hilarious.
aye, it's fairly accurate, but I'd rather she told me she didn't listen than lie to me and say she did.
Well, this is true.
Maybe, I don't know. Pardon me. Exciting week this week. Last week we launched our first ever Patreon request fan site. Aye, we fucking put it out there. Happy to report we're about, what, halfway?
Just ever so slightly under halfway there. Yeah, it comes up. That's the other crazy thing. It comes up in dollars. So instead of £30, which is what we were aiming for, we had to make it $60. But in a second, Jordan will give a shout out.
We'll do the first shout out to our Patreons thus far. Shout out to Big Ali Cook.
Shout out Ali Cook.
Shout out
Ali.
former Hurricanes legend himself, Mr. Andy Henderson, the original creator of Maurice. Shout out to Andy Henderson. Big man Fraser Reevy of
well
Reevy
done, Reevy.
Media. Thank you very much, Reevy. Good lad. Nate Black, Jiu-Jitsu vegan master.
Yeah.
Big up yourself, son. And Bestie.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Say it
Hi,
again.
Rachel, again.
Good man. Good lad. Yeah, fucking buzzing with the response so far.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Will say again, like Andy Mac said, it's in dollars.
Yeah.
We didn't just double it on request. It isn't still pounds, so $5 is still the same amount of money.
Pretty much, yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't sweat the
Pound will be
exchange rate.
worth nothing by about 3 weeks' time anyway, so, it'll be worth about 50p, so I'd get on it.
Ah, yeah, do it now.
Get on it now.
It's our Patreon deal. Let's see, sure, you will be, if with your Patreon donation, you will be entered into exclusive competitions, exclusive 15 minutes per week of exclusive content. Fucking hell, I cannot speak tonight.
Nah.
Content. Do what you can, less than a cup of coffee for one of the chain places.
Yep, and that's the thing. We'll get the first additional. What would you call it? Additional content, extra
I couldn't say that
content
word
loaded
either.
up. So yeah, I couldn't even think there, man. Just a blank. I'm just so grateful for people like helping out the podcast. And that.
Actually,
No, genuinely.
the second that the first one came through, I about dropped my phone. I was like, "Holy fucker! We've officially been paid for a podcast." Buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
Helps to keep the lights on. But no, I'm just buzzing because we'll get the first bit of extra content done for that, and that'll be out tomorrow for the Patreon subscribers.
Fuck aye.
So yeah, looking forward to it.
Now, you may have noticed the absence of a word with dots this week. I know we're all really upset about it. It's another reason Megan might listen this week.
That's a good point. It raises the possibility.
However, we are hoping to make contact with Mr. Dot, so we'll maybe get a live off the cuff.
Oh, they're never off the cuff.
Nah.
No. Somebody else came up with them off the cuff. Mike
like
just
that.
went on Twitter.
Is it like that in the...
Live off the phone.
I was going to say, in The Office, the American Office, where it's Steve Carell's at, you take 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky, and then Michael Scott as well. So he's quoting the quote, and he's quality. So that's effectively how... Oh, wait a minute, there is one. No, that's for last week.
Is it last week's one?
Don't worry. Nah, can I do a doubler?
Oh, no.
Again, as well, for more money, do you want to advertise on this podcast? We are selling our souls, totally selling out to the man. Nah, I'm only joking. Do you want to sponsor the podcast? No business too big, no business too small. We can also provide you, or Mike can, with an invoice for tax purposes. If you want to ask us any questions about Reach, no obligation quote.
Not a reach around, just a reach.
Depends how much they want to sponsor us with.
Depends how much Jordan's had to drink.
Hey, that was accurate. But yeah, so we're rocking it without Mikey Dots. I was a bit nervous coming down.
And the T-shirts as well.
Oh shit, I forgot that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The T-shirts.
So we're just... As soon as we pick them up, we'll put the post out there because we don't have a website or anything to sell them through, if that makes sense. So it's probably going to have to be something posted up on social media and first come, first served on the first
Very
batch.
limited release.
However, that does not mean you will miss out. Then we will be able to get those who didn't get on the first run. We'll get a second batch cracked up straight away, and we'll get you guys ordered up too. So
They are looking fucking deadly
they
though.
are looking sweet.
Shout out to Reevy Media,
I
Reevy
saw
Print.
that on Review Media today. I think that might have to
He's hooked us up. So I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing.
Yep.
I'm going to wear it all the time. Don't know if you've heard my podcast. We have T-shirts now. My mate of mine for work, he's a musician, and he's just started getting some music distributed and stuff like that, and signed himself up. And he was like, "Where'd you get that? How'd you get that?" When you see it, and he keeps asking about Andy Mack. He's like, "Is he producing this? What's he producing now?" So a
Loads
future
of stuff, man.
partnership.
everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Loads
Busiest
of
man in the
different
business.
things. Yeah, so keep busy, man.
Fuck aye. Right, feedback eventually. Some good feedback from last week. Everyone, I got some just really nice and personal for Stevie Mac. Rachel just said, "I don't think I've ever heard anyone say a bad word about Stevie Mac." She goes, "So many people ken him, and he's just a fucking legend."
He's an absolute hero.
Absolutely, honestly. I was listening back, and I was just like, I was like, I like this guy even more. I was there for that conversation.
Can I just say, remember we were talking about how he got the old games console and that, and I was like, oh, mate,
yes.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Well, literally the next night he was on it, and I was having a wee bit of skateboard chat with him. I was just like reminiscing. So he's just an absolute legend.
Man, as I
Such a
even
nice
I
guy.
got so reminiscent on the walk here. I took the longer way around the outside, so you can see the
So you
skate.
could go to the skate
so I could
park.
just not because I could go in, but could just see the place. And I was just like, starting remembering like I used to go down there on a Friday night. Like you'd literally go home, get changed, and straight down the skate park on a Friday night and stay there till you had to go home. Just do things you really shouldn't have been doing. Fucking a safe haven for the misled youth.
Yeah.
Got a bit of, not so much feedback, but I got a question for Ali Cook on the Monkey Sword Fight messenger page. He wants some clarification. He goes, "What is a thick king anyway?"
See, Ali's a well-read guy. You know,
I'm
he's
surprised Ali doesn't know.
yeah,
I think just that's one of us to say it.
thick with a double C.
Thicker than a bowl of porridge.
That's thick.
It's I think probably the most visual representation of a thick king is any sort of lineman.
Yep.
But for the purposes of our show, we decided so a thick king is just someone who's got a bit of
Just a bit of swag
bit of
in the locker
bit
room.
of
You know what I'm saying?
sass, get that, yeah.
Yeah.
Just maybe after Ken, who's the longest in the shower situation? You know what I mean?
And you can interpret
However
that
you wish,
want. Yeah.
however you wish, Ali. But however, for the terms of our, I don't know how anyone will remember
Ali's
this.
a thick king now.
He's a thick king now, yeah.
He's a
What was
Patreon
it?
sub.
A while ago, we asked what should we call our fans because well, you were saying there were a certain type of person. Was that what should we call them? And it was just a throwback to an episode where Andy Mack referred to the Hurricanes locker room as just a bunch of thick kings. I mean, Scott came up
Cutting a bit.
Which is remarkably accurate.
thick kings and queens. That is so it's just the terminology for a monkey sword fight fan, Ali.
Yeah.
So you, sir, are a thick king, probably the thickest of kings.
You just got a bit of swag about you. Do you know what I mean? Just
You notice that he's got that thick king status whenever he asks a question that we don't understand, even though we spoke about the subject at length. He just automatically knows more than we do, and that's what I appreciate about him.
I do love that Ali's feedback every week is like 3 or 4 lengthy comments on the Facebook post.
That's my totally time reading. It's the only time I've got enough time to get through it all in one
It's
sitting.
educating you.
Yeah, I come out of every shite a little bit lighter on weight, but a little bit heavier on knowledge.
Ah, there you go.
that's what you want every time.
I don't know if there's any more feedback thus far.
Just the usual folk. Obviously, we see them putting in their Instagram stories and putting it
Aye.
all over the place, so they know who they are.
Stevie Mac
don't
was
need to name
seeing
names.
that Stevie Mac, just my last one was absolutely buzzing. He was WhatsApping me no long after saying that still buzzing for being on. He was sending me like screenshots of his pals who were commenting on it and sharing it, and he was absolutely buzzing, man. I was like,
He
yeah.
messaged me the next day and he's like, do you know what, one time I just want to come down with some beers and that, not even be on the show, just sit there in the corner. It's like, brilliant, mate. I'm sure we could arrange it.
Oh mate, I didn't have it on. It would just be like it'd be like on Joe Rogan when Eddie Bravo just inexplicably shows up because he's got an interesting guest on. He just comes just like, I'll like, and it's literally just Eddie Bravo like that. Kind of like lovingly looking at Alex Jones as he raves about interdimensional child molesters or whatever it is he said on Joe Rogan that time.
He said a lot.
Aye. I couldn't even listen. I listened to one episode with Alex Jones and my head was just mush by the end of it. I couldn't keep up with the guy and the levels that he goes to with absolutely zero warning. That guy is fucking insane.
He's good for comedy, though.
Aye.
It's good for parody.
It'd be scary if folk didn't believe what he said, though. It'd be funny if folk didn't believe what he said. Scary dude. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's feedback for this week. They say we are joined by Mr. Tosh, my mentor on the offensive line.
Yes.
Hurricanes
yes.
legend, now coach,
That is
part-time coach.
Part-time coach at the moment. Yeah, I've got a lot going on at the moment, and I haven't been able to get on full time, but we'll get there at some point.
How are the boys looking just now?
I'm also still at that phase where I'm so close to playing that it hurts to watch people play.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying that.
That was like the one time I came to watch a game. It was
Yeah.
just
I remember that. Like about a third of the way through, you were just like,
about a third
"Can
of
I
the
get
way.
pads?"
Like after about the third snap, I was already looking at the right tackle, going, "No, how is this happening?" But I would just we met Stosh. What was this? It'll be about 4 years ago now.
Yep.
That was when
Yep, I think so.
Because I've been away
That
2
was
years.
when you started playing.
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah.
And I still remember the first time I met Stosh was just he hadn't been at the rookie days I was at, and it was like my first actual.
No, I was
training-
retired.
Yeah,
The first time.
I think it was my first training session. Walked
Possibly
in,
second time. Can't remember.
recognised a few boys for the rookie days, and then there's this big bastard just sitting there, and I was like, right, fuck, you know there?
No, I came back 3 weeks before the first game. Remember?
Was it that
Yes.
close? And then aye.
You remember Joe had been nailed down the starting guard spot
Oh yeah.
until 5 seconds after I walked back in.
That was the same. There was another boy. Who was the boy that absolutely hated me?
Gav.
So like, I'd sort of went in as a tight end when I first went. I had illusions of being a receiver,
Right.
but as quick as I was in a straight line, an Arctic lorry turns quicker. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Like I
okay.
just couldn't do the immediate change. It would just and it would be like instead of a straight flat run, it would just be a big old curve.
Yeah.
Can't
The-
zigzag.
Yeah, the only touchdown I ever caught in training was because I ran the total wrong way. I was-
Yes, you were. I think you were supposed to.
I was
I think
supposed
you were
to-
supposed to run it out, and you just ran a straight flag.
yeah, just went in and I just
Trick play.
oh, exactly. But,
You're not supposed to trick your own quarterback.
we'll get into that.
It was impressive though.
Best thing I ever seen a quarterback for Hurricanes do was fumble it in the end zone. So before the guy could get a safety, just punted it out of bounds. Was that Romano's first game? Oh yeah, this guy.
Just punted out of the end zone to give a safety anyway.
Romano's like a really, really nice dude. Really nice guy, honestly. He was a great player as well, but his first game, obviously, we were all rocking up like fags hanging out our roof the night before. He was sat on the touchline with wireless Dre beats on and gloves, just throwing passes back and forward like you see at the start of an NFL game. I was like, oh boy. Oh.
Yeah, we're all sitting on the sideline scarfing down Haribo and Monster.
And this boy is like literally like an absolute Adonis, just like, this is not the NFL, boy. You're about to learn a very, very fast and probably
Yeah.
painful lesson.
He was way above our level.
Oh, yeah. Which became evident very soon. When he was the only one that could get through like the start of the warm up run at the end of the pitch and still be running by the time he got to the 80 yard line. But I Stosh very quickly. I think it was you. Somebody mentioned one of the coaches that this big bastard who was a receiver was not even going to be like fifth on the depth chart.
Yeah, basically we. I mean, the reason I got asked to come back was because the offensive line was thin, as it always is in British American football. If you can get 5 big guys, you're doing well. And yeah, so Ross got in touch, said, "Look, I know you said you were done last year, but do you think you can do one more
I
season?"
will just sidebar this. With the 2 years I played with Hurricanes, every year was the last year that Stosh was going to retire.
And
then
every
played
year was the last year I was going to play for about 3 years before that.
As I was saying, and you played 2 years after I left as well. So
Yeah, I did. although, to be fair, last year playing only took about 8 weeks because we only played one game. But yeah. And yeah, so they were saying, oh, there's one guy who's quite athletic who might make a good tackle. Because tackles generally can get away with being a little bit smaller.
Can get
You
away
need to
with
be-
it.
But you need to be quicker. You were smaller at that time.
my nickname on the team, and nobody will ever believe this, was Skinny Jordan. Because there was 2 Jordans on the offensive line.
Yeah, that was more about the size of the other.
Doesn't
Jordan
matter.
than-
It did wonders for my self-esteem. But Stosh was the old Stosh and man with the sort of the experienced
Yes.
lineman.
Yes. And yeah, so I ended up looking after you because, in spite of the fact that we all looked at him and went, well, he's quite athletic, he might be able to play tackle. He's just a nutter, so he just wanted to hit people, so he wound up at guard. The smallest guy on our line taking on generally the biggest guy on the other one.
If you're up for it.
Oh, fuck, aye. that was my issue.
That was the problem because he was broken within about 10 minutes.
But I never went off a game injured.
You did once.
That was a concussion. But
And broken ribs.
no, I played most of that game.
Oh, okay.
I was pulled off, or you huckled me off about
Yeah.
halfway through the last quarter. It's like, you need to go off a pitch. I was like, nah, I'm all right. He's like,
No.
leave. But
Were we not 3 scores up or something though? And it was like, Jordan, there is no point in you being here. Go away.
Like, we're not here to talk about me. Anyway. So right, so rewind then. So how long were you playing? What was your
I
career?
played
in
8
this?
years in the end. Started the 2010 season, so January 2010. And yeah, started on offensive line for all of that time. Started on D-line on occasion. Moved around all over the place, right side, left side, and had a lot of fun. Just really enjoyed it.
So how did you get in it in the first place?
I picked up, I think, about a 4-year-old copy of Madden in game for about £3 or something. Because I remembered playing one of the first editions on the Amiga, I think many, many, many years before. And I just thought, I've got nothing else to play at the moment, that'll do for a while. And that got me back into the idea of the sport. And then I eventually got Sky Sports, as you do when you're in your mid-20s and you finally have a bit of spare cash.
Yep.
Discovered that they showed it on a Sunday night, got into watching it, and then accidentally discovered that Dundee had a team, as I think so many people do.
That seems to be every person I've ever spoke to. About the
Certainly at the time when we were playing up on Dawson Park, if you drove along that Arbroath Road on a Sunday afternoon, that tended to be how people found out there was an American football team in Dundee. And yeah, just rocked up to training and went from there.
So how was that first season? Had you been fairly sporty before, or was this your first sort of foray into...
I was moderately sporty for a while, in when you're teens in your early 20s, as I think most of us are. Not a lot of contact sport. Played a bit of rugby. Played quite a lot of basketball in high school. Played hockey, strangely enough. That was always fun. I enjoyed
field
that.
hockey?
Yeah, like that.
Can I see you on a field hockey pitch?
No, it was similar to me on an American football pitch, only with slightly better manners.
And a stick.
And a stick. Cycling, bit of swimming, karate, did a lot of karate. And then kind of started working full time and sort of lost the impetus for that until I got married about a year before we got engaged on holiday in Florida. I was a proper thick king at that point.
Yes. Nice. That's my boy.
So, yeah, sort of looked at the pictures from the Florida holiday and thought, shit, if I get married in a year's time, I'm going to have to look better than this. So lost a lot of weight. And then it was about 6 months, a year after that, I started with the Hurricanes. And it gave me that kick to not lose it again after the wedding, to stay in better shape. And yeah,
it was a sport that meant you can eat like fuck after American football.
That's the other thing I've discovered this year. You cannot stop playing American football and then continue to eat whatever you want.
Oh man, Sundays, that used to be the best thing in the world.
Oh.
You couldn't feel anything but pain. Your head was throbbing. You probably had concussion, but fuck you, man. You were just going to eat everything in sight.
The Saturday night before a game as well. I miss the pre-game meal so
Carb
much.
loading.
The whole day.
Especially as a lineman in like an amateur football league as well, because you have to have like a good bit of strength, but you didn't have to be like super, super strict with it.
No. The best one of all was if you knew you were going to play both ways the following day, because you knew that you were coming out of that game in massive calorie debt. Oh man! So you just went mental.
I only ever played D-line like 2 or 3 times. It's just the most fun.
It is.
Because there's no the rules that you have, because obviously in offensive line you can't grab.
You've got to be disciplined
D-line,
as well.
You're just, come here, you ripping the... Oh, man, it's just... You used to forget that you're going for the quarterback because you're too busy just trying to maim the person in front of you. Yeah. Or was that just me? I think it might have just been me because I didn't know enough to actually get past them. So
yeah,
my issue was like usually the D line like that, right? You go for a swim move their arms, get in the gap. I was like, what if I just go through them?
I love defensive line as well. I couldn't do it full time, but I did. Love every time I played on it.
I was always just too scared to play under fucking Andy Henderson. Like, if you fucked up on D when Andy Henderson was kicking about, man, it was not worth your life to even slightly make a mistake.
I started the same year as Andy. He wouldn't have done that.
Or you just wouldn't have listened.
That too.
So 8 years, finally managed to actually not play. But
yeah,
at a time of recording, Tosh is retired.
No, I am properly retired. Honestly, after that game we played last year, I think it wasn't when I woke up on the Monday or the Tuesday, but when I woke up on Thursday morning, I thought, no, that's definitely it.
I cannot do this.
Yeah.
Can I just offer some thought on that? I mean, if you think about it, playing at an amateur level, your body's conditioned to play at that amateur level. Mm-hmm. So 8 years is a long time. If you think about an NFL player whose body's, conditioned at that level, a lot of them don't have 8-year careers.
No.
Or play, necessarily week in, week out for 8 years like perhaps you did, Tosh. So I can imagine it does start to take its toll. The damage you take.
I noticed it myself after even being out for 6 months. I went back to one training session, just to cut about and see the boys, and my God, like the next day I forgot, and it's just like, how did you do this?
Yeah,
every single week. And you for 8 years, I only done 2, and I still feel different injuries. My left hand's completely fucking freakish now, purely for 2 years in this sport. So, did you ever? Obviously, everyone who plays American football at any sort of level never goes into a game 100% fit. There's always something creaking, cracking, or generally not feeling good. But do you ever have any proper, really bad injuries?
I started my career with broken ribs. I broke my ribs in my very first kitted training session.
Jesus.
And went to hospital, and they said, right, no activity at all for 6 weeks. So I was off on holiday the next week anyway, And I took the week after that off, and then I was back to it. So I think I had 3 weeks off in total. And I was still wearing protectors and everything when I started. And it was about midway through that season before I was properly healed up. I think it was
Thick
year...
king.
I think it was year 3. Year 3, played through a stress fracture in my left calf, which I didn't realise was there until the end of the season. I took a couple of hits to my left shin that year, and it really hurt. Like, it was one of those ones where you just go down and you just sort of limp off, and someone has
He's
to
not
come
wear
in for
shinnies,
you.
not.
No.
See, I'd be wearing shinnies.
Nothing below the knee.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'd be
No
wearing
pads
shin.
below the knee, man.
Oh, what's wrong with a set of shin guards?
It's too restrictive. If you try to get into a 3-point stance wearing shin guards, your legs are at too much of an angle. There are some...
True story.
Really?
You can get them, but nobody uses them. Nobody uses them.
You see the receivers in the NFL, man. They tuck their shirts up as well and shit like that. So there's
Yeah.
literally like nothing
So
on.
there's
them.
nothing to grab, yeah.
Oh man.
You got to remember, proper linemen don't wear long sleeves in the cold or anything. I mean, I think it was the Packers game a couple of years ago where at Lambeau in the playoffs,
Yeah.
when it was, what was it, minus
Oh,
20 with a
well,
wind chill or
oh.
something, and all the receivers and the quarterbacks are in these giant insulated jackets, and the Packers O-line are just cutting around in their shirts.
It's like Scott Brown.
Yeah.
In Russia.
Yeah,
It's like Scott Brown.
Might not, I
Nothing
done that,
like
man.
Scott Brown.
Fucking Scotland doesn't wear jackets.
don't think he's quite as hard as...
I could see Scott Brown as a linebacker. I won't fucking lie. For the same reason,
got
I could,
the look, he's
for the
got
same
the look.
reason, I could see my brother at linebacker. Just that 10,000-yard stare
Yeah.
and general disregard for your own well-being,
Yeah.
which is effectively you need to be on O-line
That
as well.
is, you need that just to play the game in general, really.
Yeah.
Total disregard for your own well-being.
So would you say as well as even in teams like the Hurricanes, the pride at which you get when you tell somebody you play amateur American, even American football, they automatically think NFL and instantly folk will ask you about it.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself having a lot of conversations off the back of saying that you played American football?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then you become the guru of your workplace. And when it's the Super Bowl, people come to you and go, who should I put my money on? And what should I do with this? And yeah, it starts a lot of conversations, but it's good.
Aye.
It's nice to talk.
So what would you say is your favourite moment in a Hurricane shirt?
Oh, end of my second year when we played West Coast in Glasgow, West Coast Trojans at Scotstoun Stadium. Mm-hmm. They were in Scotstoun for that year. Don't know how they swung that, but I'll say right now that it's a deeply surreal experience to sit down and watch the Heineken Cup rugby on Saturday afternoon and go, fuck, I played on that ground. That was weird. But yeah, it was just... It wasn't even a game. I mean, we were 6-3. They were 8-0. But they were playing Carlisle Reavers the week after. Mm-hmm. So you knew how that was going to go. Carlisle were the worst team in the history of the league. So you knew how that was going to go. So they needed to beat us to record a perfect season. We needed to beat them to make the playoffs. It was a fight. It wasn't a game of football. It was a straight out stand up fight. It was the most intense experience I've ever had, and it was just awesome. That is without doubt my favourite game that I ever played in.
Did you win?
We did not. Oh, it was so close as well. I think there was 5 points in it at the end. It was just one score, and we were leading at the half. Picked up a couple of injuries in the second, and it just slipped.
That's probably your worst game as well because you didn't win.
No.
What
I had far worse games than that.
What's the low point?
The low point was when we lost to Edinburgh by 78 points. That was horrific because up until that point, our historic record against Edinburgh was 17-3, I think, and we never beat them again. It was just that was the turning point. That was the point that everything just went.
I would have said the time in Newcastle. We had to stop at half time because we travelled down to Newcastle with 15 boys.
Crap, but we kind of saw that coming. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, we
You're
did.
going up against like the division, like were they second for the top in the division, Newcastle? At the top.
Yeah. No, they were. Yeah, they were the top
They
of the
were top.
division, and they were the class of the division as
Yeah,
well. I
and
mean,
we
I think they
fucking-
went to the Brit Bowl that year.
Yeah.
So
And then we fucking showed up with 15 boys. I went off.
no, we had 21, didn't we?
I don't know. I don't even know if it was that many, but like injuries because One guy got.
Well, that's it. We had 21 at the start and 15 at half time.
Joe got the probably worst hit I've ever seen in my entire life. Remember the boy absolutely blindsided him?
No, but I was probably busy at the time.
Newcastle linebacker just... The ball had already been caught, so there was no reason to block him. Joe was not paying attention, and it was almost like something at a street fight. It was like
Surely not. Joe not playing attention.
Oh man, it was brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But it's a bad game to not be paying attention or not be focused on it play by play when that whistle goes.
That's a lesson that you learn very, very quickly. You do not let your guard down whilst you're in play.
So
Same
everyone,
with the rugby.
Because you are going to die.
everyone that remembers the first time they got wiped out.
Oh, yeah.
So what was yours?
That was against... Do you know what? It was actually in about I think it was my third game against East Kilbride Pirates. Who at the time, that was when we were still in Div 1, and they were going to be promoted to the Premiership that year. Everyone knew it. So they were effectively a Premiership team playing in Div 1. And yeah, I just remember, I mean, we had a horrific time because we had, at the time, Fraser and Duma were both in the GB squad, but GB had a game. So and Lars was unavailable due to work. So our three best players were out. It was so desperate that was the moment that Ross kitted up for that season.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I don't even remember it particularly well because I did pick up a concussion in that game. But I do remember one of the few times we actually got the ball moving. Toss to the left guard pull, boom, I'm away, bang, I'm done. Honestly, it was about 4 steps and I was just annihilated. So,
It's like you can remember the impact.
Yeah.
I got earholed by a guy from Newcastle when we played them at home. Thought I was about to catch a guy who caught an interception. No. I was made to feel like a small child.
Yes. Special teams was always more fun for that, though. It was better to do it, though, than to receive.
Yeah.
Always one of those things where it's better to give than receive.
That's what I've heard.
Lads.
I know it feels wrong without dots here to make some sort of...
Hi-oh!
Hi-oh, there you go, that's the one.
You'd be like, oh, the show has hit a new low.
He's such a soft bastard, isn't he?
That's the other one, isn't
Love
it?
you, Mike. So, like I say, you've been out about 6 months to a year now since you've officially...
6 months, yeah.
6 months since you officially called it a day. What have you been doing with yourself?
Eating a lot and discovering that I can't.
Nice.
So, yeah. Figuring out a new sort of training program for the gym, getting myself back into that. But, yeah, not a lot apart from that. Went on an epic holiday, that was good.
I did want to ask you about, so you did mention earlier a big Hurricanes night out that happened at the weekend.
Yes.
This was the reason that you didn't get the train through and have a couple of beers the night.
That would be right, yep.
So what went down?
We saw off the final Thompson brother on his stag night. So, Graham.
Shout out to Graham.
Yep, big Graham Thompson. Hurricane OG, proper
Yes, true.
Hurricane OG.
That man was like...
Scored the Hurricanes' very first touchdown.
I've never seen a man who, like, when he's not on the pitch, moves like an older guy
Yes!
who hurts like a bastard. But as soon as the ball's snapped, it's just fucking quick.
Yeah.
Just like a pure footballing brain.
He's a football animal.
Him, Bruce, and Fraser, the Thompson brothers, are fucking sensational at American football. Every single one of them is like. I remember my favourite player I've ever seen.
You have no idea how Bruce is sensational. No one does. But he is.
But yeah, but the best one I ever seen, if you remember this, it was against either Northumberland or Carlisle, and they played a punt return. So Bruce takes.
I wasn't there, but I don't. I know
Bruce
the story,
Bruce takes the return, and Fraser cuts off to the right, just as looking like he's blocking, but then stops on the halfway line after Bruce has ran up, laterals it right across the park to Fraser, while the entire Northumberland defence is piled over, and he runs at him, and oh my fucking God, I lost my... Because I wasn't even on the field at that point, I wasn't on special team, I was watching, and I just... That was like the ultimate thick king moment, like the cojones to just do it and pulled it off beautifully. Like, it was magnificent.
That's just what those two do, though.
Okay.
They're just ridiculous.
So,
it was like when Fraser used to play running back. It was like the trick play the Hurricanes had was Fraser would take the snap and throw it to Bruce instead of the other way around.
Oh, flea flicker.
That's something like that, yeah.
Oh man, those were the days. Anyway, so final stag do. How did it go down?
Oh, it was good. We went up to Scott Cart's, go-karting in the afternoon because Graham loves his F1. So we did that. I'll never live it down because Joe beat me in the final race, so he's the fastest of the fat lads.
Oh.
But I also broke my go-kart twice. So
How did you break your go-kart?
well, the first one was at the end of qualifying. I just ran a little wide coming out of a corner and clipped the barrier and the wheel came off.
Sorry.
It sounds quite unsafe.
I was going to say, yeah, it was, I was meaning like the engine packed in, the steering wheel came off, not a fucking wheel went flying.
Seatbelt broke.
Nope. Wheel off completely.
Nice.
It was a good one. And then in the race, the second one was just mechanical. The chain broke, so that wasn't my fault. That just happened.
Right.
But after that, for the last 5 or 6 laps, they gave me a go-kart with brand new cold tyres on it. And I now understand why they warm the tyres on Formula 1 cars.
Yeah, because you don't have any grip on the road.
You have no grip at all. I spun 4 times in 3 corners.
It just sounds to me like you're not very good at go-karts.
I'm very good at go-kart.
That's the problem why average person, most average people can't drive, a lot of faster cars or couldn't drive a Formula 1 car because they're not able to drive it fast enough to keep the heat in the tyres to actually keep them on the road.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
There you go.
I remember that on Top Gear. I think was it Hammond
Richard
got to
Hammond,
drive a
it
Formula 1
happened
car.
to him,
Yeah, and he was like, "It's uncontrollable," and they were like, "That's because you're not going fast enough."
Yeah, that's it.
No. So go-karting, who actually won that in the end?
Dave Robertson.
Oh shit.
He is a sneaky little.
You figure that the weakest and the lightest guys are generally going to be the best for the
Well,
go-karts.
Yeah, the top. Oh, Dave's not small.
No,
Is he not?
Dave was
No.
an absolute beast.
Dave's about Jordan's size, but thinner.
He is in shape, Andrew, yes.
He is in shape, indeed. But yeah, I mean, it was Dini and Gilray because they're tiny, and Robin Taylor because he's built like a cocktail stick.
He's also a referee.
I know. And Dave, they were the 4 fastest by some margin.
Dini is also, again, he's a fucking freak. Like in the best way, because I remember he's a wee guy, but fuck me, is he strong? It's like Ant-Man. You know what I mean? Like absolutely tiny, but like I remember the first time I never like went in properly and like just a fucking just like the bull ring. And he came in after that.
Because you went, oh, it's just Dini. He's
No,
tiny.
because I'd put somebody bigger out. I can't remember who it was. Another lineman I'd put in. It was like the first time I ever put anyone out in the building. I was like, a fucking dance, I'd have that. And then Dini walked in. I was like, yes, here we go. Bang! Square on my arse. Square on my arse. Was not prepped for Dini at all.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we used to do the tackle drill where you're both lying down and Ross gives one of you the ball. And you both have to get up and the running back has to either go through and the tackler has to make the tackle. He gave Dini the ball and Dini is so quick, he was up off the ground, out the drill and halfway home by the time I stood up.
Wee athlete. Same with Chris Gilray. Shout out to Chris Gilray. I was speaking to him at the last the Super Bowl night. Gilray listens a lot. Shout out to Gilray.
He does.
So
we did that and then we went to the Boozy Cow for food, which was good. It was good fun. Ran up a horrendous bar tab.
Nice.
I mean, we were not a kick in the arse off for 500 quid.
That's impressive.
And then just a few other pubs.
Split how many ways?
16, 17.
Oh, that's not too bad.
It's not too bad, no.
It's okay.
It wasn't too bad. But
I'm actually slightly disappointed by that number now.
well, I'm just saying there are a few guys there who were drinking Coke or...
Sniffing it. No, I'm only joking. No, I'm only joking. I wasn't there.
I confirm nothing.
No, that's not too bad actually when you think about it. That's only stopping off at one place as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so when it arrives on the table, you look at it and you go, what?
It's just debauchery from there then.
Pretty much, yeah.
We heard back from our...
Graham in a wedding dress. I don't know if you saw that.
I've seen that. Well, that's an image that'll stay with me for a while.
Yeah, it's not going away, is
but
it?
I got because it was our good pal Reevy who's doing the t-shirt. He was there and he messaged me and just said that he is just in pieces.
Yes. Oh, he was absolutely
Drunk
Just done.
Revie is one of my most favourite people in the whole world.
Yeah.
Imagine
Oh,
just
yeah.
a behemoth of a man just trying to squeeze the love out of you, like, but also just give you all of his.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you remember Billy's wedding?
Yes.
When we all went outside to get that photo taken, and me and Reevie had Billy up on our shoulders. I was having to hold on to Billy, but also hold on to Reevie to stop him walking away because he didn't know where he was or what he was doing.
my
And he
man,
didn't
Reevie.
realise that he had Billy on his shoulder. I was like, no, you can't go.
Liability and a big guy.
Aye.
Yeah.
Very good at making t-shirts, so as you will see soon.
Shameless plug.
Can yourself. I just want to touch on it before we start talking random shit. You've started doing some blogging.
Yes, I have. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of your fault, actually. Because, I don't know, I always enjoyed, like, writing in English class at school. And I did do some really embarrassing fan fiction, which hopefully is no longer on the internet and things.
What was
Just
it
as
for?
a wee
What was it for?
Star Wars.
Nice.
What else would it be?
Was it pornographic?
I was born in it was not. Calm down.
I will not. Sorry, carry on.
Which hopefully is no longer on the internet, although they
definitely
say
on
the
it.
internet never forgets, so it's
come on
probably
then
out
when I
there
get
somewhere.
in.
You'll do well to find it. I have no idea how you could. And yeah, again, that was something that went by the wayside as, you adjust to full-time work and then...
The life is slowly stamped out of you.
Yeah, something like that. And yeah, the football took over for a very long time, and that takes up a lot of time because you're training. And I was involved in a lot of off-field stuff for a while as well, and that takes up a horrendous amount of time. You wouldn't believe it. And then, but over the last couple of years, I've sort of started to step away from football, and just thought, as well, you started this, and I've seen how much you and Dots get out of it, just having a forum to express yourselves. It doesn't matter if nobody listens.
Yeah, we've always said that. It's nice that people do listen, but like we got here when nobody was listening, we were doing it on bumpers, so
Yeah.
okay.
I was listening.
Thanks, man.
Because I remember I said that to you about 4 shows in. It was just like, it's like sitting having those long chats that you have on the bus to long games.
Because I was a lot better at that than I was at playing football.
I think we all were. Because, Newcastle, Northumberland, Carlisle, those were long bus trips.
Yeah, so you're 4 hours there and back, and you're leaving early fucking doors,
Yeah.
and then you got to try and keep the missus happy, and then you've got to try and still make it to say, oh, fuck me, man.
So, yeah, it felt a bit like that. And I just thought, well, I don't have anyone to go in on with me, and I'm not sure I could really keep a podcast going, but I can write, and I know I can write. So it's just, right now I'm still in the very early stages. I'm just finding my voice, figuring out what I want to say. And I don't know what it's going to turn into, but...
First one was about Spider-Man...
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse,
Into
yeah.
Spider-Verse,
Because you're big into your comic books.
Yeah, that's something that's really only come about in the last couple of years when I discovered there's an app called Marvel Unlimited. And basically, Marvel are still in the process of digitizing their entire back catalogue. I mean, to give you an idea, there's 25,000 books on it at the moment. They've just passed that mark a couple of weeks ago. And I think they're only about 2/3 of the way through the process. And you can get access to all of that for a tenner a month. Which,
That's really
That's fucking
that's
brilliant.
amazing.
That's
So you
really
could go
good.
Yeah.
and look at any Marvel comic from. Excuse my ignorance. I'm not into that stuff. So like, who's a Marvel one?
Like, I just totally froze. I almost said Wonder Woman for fuck's sake.
Is that like but like one of those? So that means you could go back and read those
you can
original
go back,
comics
you
back
can go
to
back
episode
to the first
1.
Captain America back in 1943.
Wow! So all
Or
those
41,
comics and
I
all
think
those
it is,
characters and all
Yep.
those.
I think this as well. See,
For a tenner.
I think this is almost
pretty
it's
good.
understated a lot because, like you say, Andy, you guys like yourself that's maybe not into
Yeah,
it.
it's right.
Like the depth of storytelling that has went into these universes is unbelievable.
I had no idea actually because I read comics growing up, but when you live in the UK and particularly I lived in Alyth, like a tiny little backwater hole, so there was nowhere to get that sort of stuff. So it was the occasional Batman anthology that might appear in the library, or something would pop up and I'd grab it, see like an old annual in a charity shop or something, and grab that. And yeah, until I got the unlimited subscription, I mean, I got into it through the movies as well. You know, you return
Yeah.
to these things. But until I got into it, I had no idea the depth of that world. I mean, it's incredible. It is some of the most original, innovative, inspiring writing you can find.
It's great, I think, as well. They can get away with almost anything because it's so fantastical, and that's why I think a lot of comic book movies fail when they try and realise it, because the fact of comic books, when you're looking at them on the page, they can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. Whereas to try and translate that into film can sometimes be a bit more difficult, because when you're actually looking at people doing it, it has to be a bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's just ink on a page,
And
they can
that's-
do whatever the fuck they want.
That's something that I did a bit on Captain Marvel. Did you read? Have you
I've not read that one yet,
Not read
no.
that one yet. A touch on that. It's interesting to see where the MCU is going to go from here, because they have to deal with a problem that the comics don't. They have characters that age. Whereas, because you can't stop an actor aging,
Yeah.
as much as Robert Downey Jr. looks like he has.
That's true.
Um,
That's what happens. Coming off a smack will do for you.
And then going on to
true.
steroids and shit like that. It's just TRT.
So they're going to have to deal with the fact that their characters age and what they're going to do with that. So that's a big difference that the MCU has from the comics, because Steve Rogers still looks exactly the same as he did in 1940 in the comics, which they play off as this is the super soldier serum, but no one else ages either.
Yeah.
So, or if they do, it's very, very, very slowly.
Yeah. Or it's a storyline
so-
about an old version of them.
Yes,
They
Old
don't,
Man
they don't
Logan.
kind of like actually have a periodic. It's just
That
50
got-
years from.
That got thrown out in Gwenpool, who you won't know anything about, but she's a very, very cool little self-referential character. And in her second last book, they talk about superhero aging, and it's like, yeah, you either age really slowly or you age all at once in one big lump. Not looking at you, Logan.
It's a funny joke, Andy, but you might not understand it.
Yeah, it might have gone over my head a bit, but I'll just smile, be
yeah.
polite, and be
People
like,
there are loving it. Because I remember we'd done that once. We went to go through to watch Ben Don't Break. And we ended up being the only two left drinking. We sat and talked about comic books for so long that I missed 2 trains.
Yes, we did.
Good place. So your thing. So you've got that. So that's 2 you've done now.
How many are up there? I think there's 4.
I know.
There's one. There's the Spider-Man one. That was what kicked it off, actually, because obviously that got nominated for Best Animated Film, and it's like it tells you the difference between a superhero movie and a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Like it is a comic book thrown up on screen because it's animated. They can do whatever they want, and they do. It is amazing.
It's a
It is
spectacle
total
just to look
trip.
at, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got to be seen. It is incredible.
Can I say, as somebody who's not into that kind of stuff, but if I was, I could imagine I'd probably be more into going to watch a film that was animated like a comic than
Yeah, 'cause
one that was actors and actresses and CGI.
Because even if you didn't
I
care for the
would.
story, and you could actually admire the fact and the work that's went into it.
But not just that, but I appreciate also the points that Tosh is making there, where it's almost like they've got more freedom to do more stuff and make it, however you want to make it, more expansive, more impactful. Like I say, I mean, I've not seen it, so. But I mean, if that was me, it'd probably be something I'd be into, man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I would recommend anyone go and see it at the Spider-Verse, even if you've no idea who Spider-Man is or anything like that. Just go and watch that film, because it's just. I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I've already got it ordered. It's just astounding. I'm just going to sit there for the whole weekend.
Do shit on this. I'm such a nerd. for
folks
this
still buy Blu-rays, aye.
Aye.
Folks still have
Oh,
DVD
I buy them for
players,
like.
aye.
I buy them for just like.
PlayStations, Andy. PlayStations.
Well, yeah, fair enough, but like, it
Aye,
just...
it is, I don't know when the last person who bought just a Blu-ray player ever
No.
happened. Like, nobody does that.
No, but like, still like buying Blu-rays, and I just figured everybody would be streaming.
Well, see,
I do mostly, but if it's something special, then
Like
yeah.
that, like an
Yeah.
album, then, like to
Yeah.
own it, like in that respect.
Yeah, well, that's why I think I'm like with all the Avengers films. I'm waiting until we hit Endgame, the next one will come out, and then I'll buy all the ones that have been released in some sort of
I've got them all.
display. Because as I'm saying, I thought I bought them sporadically over the years, but it's the type of thing I'd want to present and actually have out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, just
Present.
Look at my fucking DVDs. Look at that. You know what I mean? But I mean, like my mum and dad have got all their favourite vinyl. They're all framed and hung up in the house. Because, like you say, they can get them on Spotify now, so they don't need to get the vinyls out, but they've got the actual covers up, like, presented in the house.
Yeah,
So
it
that's the
it was like a throwaway comment for me. But yeah, I don't buy DVDs. I don't really know folk. Any of my mates didn't really seem to buy DVDs apart from clearly now like you guys. So,
and we're mates.
I can't think of anything else that I would go out and make a point of buying. But
Well, for me, it's
those
just
ones I
like
always
vinyl
get.
and some DVDs, right?
Yeah.
You go, Andy.
yeah, no, I feel like I've just thrown everybody pure right
But
off guard.
That's
there.
Yeah, I
You
mean, I
have.
know
I just,
anyone who listens knows you're not big on your movies, Andy. But if
yeah, I know.
if you fancy the concept, then definitely give Spider-Verse a go.
I
Because
just-
it
if
is
you only watch
incredible.
one of the 500 different comic book films
Comic
there's
book
out there,
yeah.
just make it that.
I just thought the concept is that a comic book is animated, it's drawn, and that, you know, then going to watch a film adaptation of that would be probably, for me personally, more enjoyable watching it animated like that rather than, as I say,
I think that's what's-
CGI with actors and
It's so
actresses.
brilliantly done as well because, like, the whole idea is it's Spider-Verse. There's six dimensions. The Spider-Men from each dimension get thrown together, but each of them is animated in a different style. So
They're all
well,
remnant of like styles that have been used across the
Yeah.
different comic runs.
so
as well.
like say Penny Parker in the robot Spider-Man, their manga. Spider-Man Noir's like 1930s sort of stop motion style almost.
Cool.
And
voiced by fucking Nick Cage.
voiced
by,
by
the way.
Nicolas Cage.
Which had not been advertised at all.
No.
It was like I was sitting in the cinema with Megan. I was just like, "Is that fucking Nick Cage?"
Yeah,
That's probably
I
because he
think-
makes so much shite these days. People would say, you're like, I'm not going to watch that, man. He lost it 15 years ago.
I don't
Well,
know,
they
man.
were- they were making-
National Treasure 1 and 2 are dope, by the way. I'll say that right now.
The man's a legend. I mean, no matter what you consider of his films,
Face
the man
Off,
is a
man.
legend.
He's either a stone cold classic of a film or the most forgettable
Oh, yeah.
thing
Or
you'll
it's
ever
terrible.
see. It's
Oh, but
there's
it's
just nothing
but the
between.
reason he does it
No.
is because he's like rich poor.
Oh yeah,
Like he earns millions and millions of dollars, but he pays out like millions per month on shit. So he has to just do whatever the fuck he can.
he's made some bad decisions. So yeah, he's got some big
But
bills
he's
to
made
pay.
some crackers.
Oh, he's made some
I've not watched
amazing.
Face Off in a long time, but it was the last time John Travolta did, and he looked like a Ken doll that had been left next to an
Yeah.
oven. Sidebar: did anybody see that weird video of John Travolta singing that was all over Instagram for a few days?
No.
Him and the wifey for Greece recently done a weird country music song.
All right. Okay.
Fucking hilarious. Man. John Travolta looks like he's been carved out of stone, but like badly. Good times. But anyway, that was a bit weird.
That was a weird sidebar.
It was.
John Travolta is straight on the Tom Brady shit list this week just for that behaviour.
I've got somebody though. I've got somebody for a
All
shit
right,
list,
okay,
so
cool. He's
we
off.
can put him. We can
He's
double
off.
it up.
He's there for a week with us, empty.
Should we jump into a bit of which one is going to do it?
Bra or not?
Yeah.
Raw or no? Raw or no? Raw or no?
Got a few in earlier on. Yeah, fucker. I feel honestly, I feel all over the
I
place.
just
because
realised-
Mikey's not here.
I just realised I did that thing that everyone talks about when they wait for the music.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
I sometimes do it as
No,
well.
it doesn't.
Happens
It
up
doesn't
at mine
happen in
later
real
on.
life.
Fuck's sake. Right, we've got a couple here. First of all, shout out to Stevie Mac.
Stevie Mac, what's he saying?
He's saying Pimientos del Padron. Absolutely, bro.
Oh yeah,
And that translates to,
that translates to Padron peppers.
that's what it is. I reckon, I've never tried them. Stosh.
Nope. Oh, they are the best thing about going to Spain. They are like little jalapeno-sized green peppers.
Right.
Normally they're sweet. 1 in every 10 is hot. Not as hot as a jalapeno, but it has heat to it. And because you're not expecting it, it takes you by surprise. They serve them normally in Spain. They're just fried off in extra virgin olive oil, sea salt over the top. Boom. And they
All you
are
need.
awesome.
That's all you need.
deadly, by
They
the way.
are absolutely
Purely off of
brilliant.
your offer that there, I'm going to say bra. It's
Yeah.
the first time I've ever brought something I've never seen before or eaten, but
I may be tempted to hit the spice rack a little to go with that sea salt, but that sounds good. I say bra, but I was wondering why he put that in. But if you notice on his Instagram, did I say this when he was on last week?
No.
How like he puts on his Instagram like he's having pints and that in Barcelona and that, and I hit him up He's like, when you back from Barcelona, he's like, I'm not even there, mate. I just put it on my Instagram and noise folk up at college and noise folk up at work if they make them think I'm away on holiday drinking beers in the sun. I said, you fucking legend,
That's
mate.
bra, Stevie Mac. That's a double bra.
That is
So
good. I like
double
that.
bra from me.
Padron Preppers goes right into the bra pile.
Good.
It got double broad by both of us, and neither of us have eaten them before.
Nah, but just
Strong.
I like peppers, man.
Strong. Right, here's one for Dylan Stewart. International football. Football. International football for non-Scottish people. I think we're probably all a bit jaded because we've not had anything to celebrate for 21 years.
An extremely long time.
A
Anyway.
very long. Last time we were ever close to having something to celebrate, we were screwed out of it by a fucking linesman.
I'm just going to say now, football in general is a no for me. So,
We'll touch on the rugby and sports.
oh yeah.
I still have to say, bro, it's a bit of a no because we're just not at the party at the moment. But once we get back to the party,
I don't mind competitive games. International friendlies for me, I think should
well,
be
they've done
barred.
away with friendlies because you've got that
The League of
UEFA
Nations.
League of Nations, which is actually a lot better.
Once people started to understand what it actually meant, and that was my favourite thing about the League of Nations. So if we beat Finland and Croatia draw with Egypt, and then the Americans beat the Nigerians by 14 goals with no reply, then Scotland have only got to play 4 qualifiers to get into the next round of qualifiers.
I still say, bro, like, you know, it should be the pinnacle of football is playing for your country. Forget, but it's not Champions League and that kind of thing is, but yeah.
That's a
for
bra
me.
for me.
Football is generally a no for me, but a good international match like Holland Spain or something like that, that's worth watching.
That's fair.
still worth watching.
So that's a bra. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't know what you. Dills will never tell us what he was saying, so I'm gonna
Doesn't
assume
matter,
it's
it's
bra.
going in the Brawl of
That's
Fame
Brawl of
regardless.
Fame, sound. This was a bit of a weird one from Chris Cassar. Dodgy Spotify or Sky, in brackets, paying for hacked accounts. Bra or no? Asking for a friend.
Why would you be paying for a hacked Spotify account? What does he mean by that?
Oh, just says
Can you do that?
maybe it's a one-off payment and you get to hack into somebody's account rather than a monthly subscription. Stop being such a cheap cunt and just fucking pay the £10 a month.
I
Yeah.
don't understand why you need to pay for Spotify because I have it free and there's never any ads on it. It's just a thing on my laptop pops up and you just hit the X and close it down the window. It
For
doesn't even interrupt your
But when
music.
you're listening on your phone, there's fucking rakes of them.
There's
There
hardly
is.
any on my laptop, man.
You'd be all right though, Andy, because if you've got an ac.uk email address, you can get an academic membership. It's about £3 a month instead.
I still refuse to pay for
I
this.
thought you probably would.
Another one of the student discounts that Andy Max missed out on.
I never ever knew about that. But then I've had no inclination to pay for it. So
I'm going to say no. I'll just pay the money if I
Yeah,
want
I'm
it.
going now.
Nah.
I don't work for all that money to
Sorry,
then
Chris, that
get
was a
into
weird one,
hacking
mate, but
things.
nah.
yeah, didn't pay for that, Chris. You'd be much better sponsoring Monkey Sword Fight
Okay,
every
nah.
single month on
We've got fucking
Patreon.
rakes of stuff you can listen to, mate.
Nothing dodgy here.
All above board.
All right.
Mark Miller. Shout out to Mark Miller. Asda, make your own pizza.
Bro.
Bro, the value for money is incredible.
He is not wrong.
Oh, I'm going to have to fucking agree. Like, their big meat feast with the jalapenos on it.
Bro, all the way.
Bro.
Go custom. Big 14-inch pizza. Chorizo, pepperoni, jalapenos, extra cheese. Boom.
Stosh's
That's
meaty
all
man.
there is.
That's pretty much what I would have, but I would have swapped out the jalapenos for black olives.
It's awesome as well because they use proper fresh jalapenos, not pickled ones.
Okay.
And they're just delicious.
I'm fucking starving. I'm down hungry. So that's a bra.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
All day. Next one here is Greg Tarbit. All right, Tarby. Congratulations to you and your lady. They had their baby not that long ago.
Nice one,
Sorry.
Shagger.
Reese's Sweets. I just discovered them 2 weeks ago. It's a big bra from me.
As in, like, Reese's peanut butters. You only just discovered them.
I
Tarby.
was thinking, how the fuck's that happen?
I know.
Those things are glorious.
Oh, the best.
That was football fuel for 5 years.
Peanut butter chocolate spread sandwich.
Yeah.
Have me some of that all day.
No. Peanut
Bro?
butter cup.
Oh,
Yep.
massive,
bro.
bro.
Fucking hell. Rapid fire for them boys. I didn't even got to fucking live cast any of them. Fuck it. Sorry. That's Mikey's job.
That's because
anyway.
Dots isn't here. That's it.
I know, I did. He's good at. Well, no, I say he's good at the thingy. That's one of the biggest bits of feedback we get. Is why are we always looking at Mike's pus when other folk are talking?
Because Mike just likes to get himself out there.
No,
fair.
because he's reading the comments. 'Cause
That's true,
that was a
that's
bit
true.
of feedback my
That
mate
too.
gave weeks ago, and that was his response. So we'll
Miss
stick
you
with it.
lots.
It's because
Miss
he knew
you,
I was
Mike.
coming.
He was
It
gutted.
used to be if any lineman got downfield at football, Mike would run away. So that must be what it is.
Any favourite memories of Mike Dots playing American football?
Mike Dots actually delivered the hardest hit I ever experienced on a football pitch.
Really?
Yes. We were playing against Glasgow. I think we only had 18 players. So it was a both ways all day job for me. Hey, big eating beforehand. And yeah, tackled the running back at the line of scrimmage, but he was still on his feet. And I had, wrapped him up, but he was still on his feet, still trying to run, dragging my 18.5 stone at the time.
Nice.
And then the next thing I knew, I was lying flat on my back with him on top of me and a sore head, and it was because Mikey Dots had come through and just wiped him out. So much as he ran away at training, he was not afraid of contact.
What a guy.
That hit
never
was
got to play with Mike.
unbelievable.
Never got to play with Mike.
No, I didn't think you two ever
No.
actually got.
He
were
grew
on
up
the
me
field
Ricky David
together.
and he never came back. Didn't want to fuck with me. That's what it was.
That's
Straight
it.
bag.
That's it.
We've done some more sports. Shall we do a little bit of sports?
Yeah. I think so.
Yay.
Sports.
Let's get ready to rumble. Take him out, son. I mean that. Take him out. That is one of the craziest stoppages I have ever seen. What's your goalie doing, Tom? What's your goalie doing?
My good weekend for the sport, bad weekend for people switching the game off at half time.
Or 20 minutes in, like I did.
Scottish rugby. The highest scoring draw and the biggest comeback ever in Six Nations history.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah,
So
I would
those-
think that would be pretty safe.
those
yeah.
not-
It's also the first time any team has ever scored 6 tries at Twickenham.
Really?
Wow.
No team had ever scored more than 5 until the game at the weekend.
Well, for those who don't know what we're talking about, Scotland played England in the Calcutta Cup in the final game of the Six Nations on Saturday. The first half was what can
Horrendous.
only be described as a spanking.
Yep.
Scotland had their pants pulled down and their bottoms slapped red raw for 40 minutes, and it was 31-0,
31-7 at half time.
31-7 at half time. So me, along with majority of other people I've seen on Facebook, fucked it off at half time and went about their business.
Which, as I say, means you made it 20 minutes further than me.
Yeah. And then I went back onto Facebook about an hour later, or whatever it was, and just to see Sam Ross, finally made Sam Ross, put up, what a comeback. I was like, fuck do you mean, what a comeback? Switched on, and it was 36-31 Scotland. I was like,
Still managed to
38, 31.
fucking blow it though.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
But I had to
don't.
leave. The thing is as well, for all that I didn't watch, for that last 4 minutes I turned on, I instantly was like, fuck. I had to leave the room when England were like 4 yards for the line because I was like, I can't fucking watch it. I just
Yeah.
can't watch it. But the fact that what I thought was hilarious was that the England players were furious.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were-
They completely went to pieces. Like
Oh man.
when Scotland scored their third try, and I don't think we were even 10 minutes into the second half, that England team just went to pieces. And they were able to take advantage, which was beautiful.
Oh, I couldn't fucking believe it.
But it's the most extreme difference in two halves I've ever seen in any game of anything ever, anywhere. It was unbelievable.
But you can't beat a comeback as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like in any
Well,
sport.
except when it's the Patriots.
7 minutes a page. Aye, yeah, and but a comeback is like, I ain't got encompassed. Like, I'd rather a comeback than like a 5 or 6-0 win. Do you know what I mean? Like for the all the time it's on, it's an absolute nightmare. But then for that like a last minute winner or fucking like coming for like 3 down and beating somebody 4-3, it's just the best thing in the world when you see it live. Like saying that was new West Ham. Here's a wee tip. I've got Andy Mac. You'll appreciate this. So I got a notification on my betting app of my choice. So a wee triple for Saturday. Had a £5 in my account I didn't know about. Bunged that on. It was Norwich, Villa, and West Ham. Something like 91. Belter. Fucking so West Ham are 3-1 down with about 15 minutes to go. and I'm getting offered like £1 or something on my fucking app. So I was like, fuck, I'll take that and I'll stick on a big stupid accumulator tomorrow. Wouldn't let me do it. So fuck it, chucked it away. Get a notification 15 minutes later, 3-3 West Ham. I was like, oh yeah, fuck. Stoating about my living room like that. Just needed to score, refresh. And then they scored it in the 93rd minute or something. The chuff no have a fucking heart attack. Just jumping in the living room like, yeah, fuck. So that was a nice wee one. So shout out to Willie Hill and their wee Saturday afternoon deal. So you'd appreciate it as a gambling man.
I'm not a gambling man.
Or a man who appreciates a decent win.
I appreciate a bit of homework and what I consider a safe bet.
Fuck you then.
Yeah. Nah, in all fairness, a win's a win, mate.
Aye.
Better than a loss.
Did you happen to watch any of the UFC this weekend?
I did indeed. I was delighted it was in London this weekend because it meant I could start watching it around about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening.
As opposed to the morning.
Yeah, so I was like, nice, I can actually like watch this up, do the post presser and that on YouTube, and then fucking go to my bed. 11:30, fucking sorted.
Standout fight of the night for you?
Probably Georgie Masvidal and Darren Till.
That
The
was
fact that afterwards then he gave Leon Edwards the 3-piece and the soda. It's just like, my
I
boy.
don't know if you know this, Tosh. The boy, there was the Liverpudlian boy Darren Till got now possibly the deepest knockout I've seen for a
you watch
long
his
time.
head bang off the
Like,
canvas, man.
You know, usually
I saw that,
You know, usually
actually.
they get hit, and then a couple of seconds later they're coming back together. He was still sleeping.
He was away. Yeah,
Like-
I saw that on Facebook.
man.
There was a BT Sports highlight
Yeah.
video, and
Yeah.
I just looked down in time to see that punch hit, and
He was sleeping.
he was
Yeah.
completely gone.
I
Like,
think but the thing is, Zanto, was that 2 losses out of 3 for Darren Till in a minute?
He's lost his last 2 fights in a row.
Lost 2 fights because it was Woodley.
Woodley beat him, submitted him.
Woodley
and-
tapped him and he's been sparked out. Now the boy's only 26.
Yeah, but I wonder if that knockout's, partly down to the fact that he has to cut so much weight to get down to welterweight that he's still dehydrated. What I think might also be interesting, Dan Hardy made this point, I think it's a very, very good point, that he'd be better to go up to middleweight because it might also work in his favour not being the biggest guy in every fight.
Yeah.
It might force him to try and fight a bit differently.
Because I remember hearing about this after, I think it was his first big fight in the UFC, so 2 ago where he won.
Well, he beat Cowboy
He beat
Cerrone.
Cowboy.
He beat, debatably beat Wonder Boy.
Aye, but it's like these. So he was growing about how he's a big lad, but he says he's easily making these cuts, and then by the time he goes back into the ring, he is much heavier.
yeah,
But because it's not good. We had Paul talked about it. Seen the state of McGregor when he fought Chad Mendes and looked like he'd OD'd on something, like skeletal.
It's not healthy for you. So I wonder how much that has to play. Now, I didn't have a bet on the USC this weekend. The only one I was looking at before it was the Till Masvidal fight to end just by KO or TKO by either guy, but I was only getting evens on it, and I didn't really feel like slapping 20 quid on it for a fight. I would go, everything in my heart is telling me that's going to be the case. But if I stick 20 dabs on this at evens, it's my only bet of the night. I've not got a spread covering or any accumulators or anything going to keep me tying over in case it doesn't come in. I was like, I bet you it'd end up going 5 rounds. And of course, fucking a round and a half and it was over. So I was a wee bit disappointed. But what are you going to do? So yeah, I watched that. It was all right. It was just nice to have it on at a fucking decent time, man.
That's
having to go to my bed and get up or stay up, it fucks me the next day, man.
That's it. I love the UFC, man, but I find myself only staying up for fights now. Really, of folk I know, which happens less and less. 'Cause I've not watched for so long. Because, like you say, it's on at 3 in the morning. So even if you record it, then I've got the wee man's football and this, that, and the next thing, and try to spend time with the missus and that. It's like trying to find time to just put 3 hours aside.
I keep thinking I want to get the fight pass just so the fact is I could get up first thing in the morning and just watch it on my laptop. But the problem is you don't get the pay-per-views. So I still need to get either a stream going for that or somebody to give me their BT Sports login. So until they get the pay-per-views included in it, maybe did something that cost $14.95 a month or something, then it's just going to be a pain in the arse, man.
After McGregor Aldo, man, I'm hesitant to stay up that late for anything that might last 14 seconds.
But that's what I'm saying. If you've got the pay-per-views included in the Fight Pass thing, then you could just get up the next morning. Don't look at your phone. Don't turn on Google Chrome on your laptop. Just get fucking UFC loaded up and sit and watch it.
Aye.
Instead of this fucking up all night to watch it. and then you sleep until 2 o'clock the next day, your fucking day's gone.
With the very real possibility that it lasts 30 seconds.
Exactly.
That man, I honestly took me 25 minutes to defrost my car because it was in the middle of December. Still fucking raging about that.
Yeah, I've got a couple of stories I could tell about that night, but I can't really tell them because we're on air and I'd have to beep a lot of stuff out. So
Should I find that one on the Patreon?
maybe I might just chuck that in there as a wee extra later. I'll tell you the story about what happened at McGregor Aldo. I think that was all the sports I pretty much had this.
There wasn't much else.
Rangers. I've been laughing at Stephen Gerrard. Sorry, this weekend because
Actually, it does bring me. It ties in with my cunt of the week. He's a journalist for the BBC. I've touched on him before. Tom English.
you didn't like him, do you?
He's a wee mort. He's fucking like he was getting on at Lenny for fucking celebrating the winner against Dundee, and there was somebody made a good point. Len said in an interview, because I felt tremendous pressure taking this job for Brendan Rodgers 11 weeks to go. I really want to win the trophies for Celtic. And I'm a fan, and my team just scored a winner in the 96th minute. Do you know what I mean? To go 10 points clear. And this Tom English is like, people celebrating like that's just fucking ridiculous. Just turn around and get on with it.
I'm just going to say, and this came from a Celtic supporting friend at work, that was the 96th minute of 2 minutes of injury time. So
There is also that as
There
well.
is also that.
it's the old Rangers won 1-0. Who scored the penalty?
Came with their comment on Twitter. Tarrier time.
And that's exactly what it is.
That's what Rangers fans are calling it, Tarrier time.
Because you can bet if 90 seconds after the night, if that had gone 90 minutes, 90 seconds later, Dundee have got the ball, they're pressing Celtic's goal, that game
See,
ends.
Tosh, that to me sounds like a conspiracy, and as a Celtic fan, you'll never hear one of those from me.
No, never, I'm sure.
I know, but it makes me laugh because, the Rangers fans are complaining about that, but, they're not complaining when they're getting 4 penalties at Ibrox. And,
Oh, no.
And then you lot are moaning about something else there, and everybody else on the outside is just sitting there like, you 2 sets of fucking supporters need to get a grip of
You
yourself
have
sometimes.
no idea.
You need to get a grip,
idea.
Rangers and Celtic fans.
Never.
But I have to say, old Slippy G this week, he's been getting fucking pelters online.
Twitter's been. Did you?
And it's been quite funny to read some of it.
Have you listened to any of the Clyde 1 phone-ins?
Oh, God.
Oh man! See, any time that Rangers drop points, just search Clyde 1 phone-in, and some of the fucking videos of these people, folk are going mental. Somebody's like Alex Ray said, it's a failed season if he's not won any trophies. The guy's like, I think you should be apologising to us Rangers fans. I'm like, you should be ashamed of yourself. He's like, no.
Yeah,
Guys,
just no.
It was unbelievable.
Oh, honestly.
Anyway,
When I used to work in Tesco, that was always on a Saturday night, the Radio Scotland phone in, and it was tragic. It's just tragic.
the best thing, you'll have seen this online, the one about Antti Niemi. The
He's
Hearts
finished.
The Hearts fan
He's not
phones in.
finished. He's 28. Sorry.
He's finished, aye. He's finished. You're not finished. He's brilliant. But aye, Tom English, anyway, is just fucking. He just seems like. Whenever I read one of his tweets slagging off either side of the old firm or any sort of Scottish football, I just think, you're the wee prick that never got to play football, aren't you? That's why you're a football journalist, because nobody would ever let you fucking kick a ball. Arsehole. He's straight on the cunt pile for me.
Fair enough. Yeah, he does talk a lot of shite sometimes.
Does.
So,
He was.
You can't hold that against him. He's a football journalist.
The thing is, as well, at one
he
minute,
writes about all. He writes
the
about
thing
a
is,
lot of different
these
stuff.
tweets were like within an hour of each other on Saturday. He slagged off Neil Lennon for celebrating like that, and then he slagged off the fact that nobody was celebrating at Twickenham. So he was slagging off too much atmosphere. He's like, I only want the appropriate level of atmosphere at my sporting events.
Clearly.
Fuck off, Tom English.
I understand why they didn't celebrate at Twickenham, because that game just slipped through their
Well,
fingers.
he
at
wasn't
the
so
end.
much a celebrating. He was slagging off like the atmosphere in general wasn't very good.
That's because it's Twickenham. Because nobody that goes to Twickenham's actually interested in rugby.
What they're interested in
Oh,
pints.
yeah.
Lads.
No, it's a posh lad's day out in London. That's all it is. It's like Chelsea or Man U these days.
Man
That's what
City
Twickenham's become.
at the empty
Every
head.
other Six Nations venue is apparently awesome. Twickenham's.
I went to one rugby I ever went to was Scotland vs Barbarians at Murrayfield.
Oh, that would have been.
It's fucking brilliant, man. I had a great time. And that was, I slagged it off at the time because my girlfriend at the time, his mum had taken us. She's like, you can't act like you're at football.
No, you
I was
can't.
like slagging off the referee and that, and she's like, shut the fuck up. But the atmosphere was brilliant. And kind of like the mixed fans, I'm not usually a big fan of mixed fans, but for like an exhibition game, it was pretty good. But like,
Yeah.
I don't want to sit next to fucking.
Oh no, you sit next to the fans. You get in your mix. That's
like
what the
that
Six
in the
Nations is all about.
It's like that in American sports. You go to the baseball, and I've done the basketball, and that's all the same. All the fans just sit in with one another.
Yeah,
It's-
been to an
it's a
NFL
tot-
game. You all sit
That'd be
together.
bananas to me. Can you imagine that in SPL?
I struggle with it a little bit. I'm more like, but then that's because I come from a football background, so I'm used to fucking this is our end.
That's
You know
your
what I mean?
end.
That's your end. You fucking stay over there. And if he gave me the finger, you wee dick.
You wee bastard. I love football hard men is when you're at the football and you see all the young team getting a big licks to the away end, and then as soon as they're outside the ground they're like putting their heads down.
I must say we've got a very, very poor young team coming through at Dundee United at the moment. I'm disappointed with how fucking soft some of these boys are. And that's probably because they attended games with their moaning fathers for years and it's just worn them away. Do you know what I mean? They're just... it's a fucking
It's like-
horrible
to be
atmosphere
To
at
be fair,
Tannadice
if you're
just now,
coming
man.
through in the young team at Tannadice, you've not had much to be proud of recently.
No, the fucking atmosphere's terrible at the moment, man.
I almost love folk who like grudgingly go to the football and you hear them like, fucking 30 quid to come and watch this pish. I was like, no one has made you buy that ticket, mate.
That's very true.
It's usually a casual sign for me because anybody who's really there for it has got a season ticket. You know what I mean?
Andy McLoyal.
You should hear the boys at Standard in the 8 Tannadice, man. It's like literally 30 seconds in, first misplaced. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Ken, you fucking done it, you fucking idiot. Eh, Ken, what's he playing for, eh? And you're just like, oh, fucking, you're just like, shut up, man.
Were you talking
know?
about eh?
I was just like, shut up.
It's annoying, is it? That's another Dundee thing I remember. Saying is it after a sentence.
Nothing wrong with that.
Is it?
So, yeah. That's sports done, man.
That's
I'm in a
sports.
bad mood now.
Let's go to let's start. So Tosh has brought a book with him. So should we go into what we've been watching and listening to?
What have you been watching or listening to this week?
There we go.
The music goes in there.
That's right. So just have to imagine.
I know,
your
I waited
head.
for it again.
Heavy trolling over here in the producer's chair.
Just wait, push it.
Push what, mate? Push what?
I'll jump in first. Then I've got. I started watching the Disappearance of Madeleine McCann on Netflix. Oh man, fuck. So I'm going about maybe 4 episodes in at the moment, and it's starting to show you the bit where the Portuguese police were obviously getting pressured for the government to shut it down, and immediately just like arrested or like questioned 2 guys, and even though they hadn't been arrested, hadn't been formally charged, there was no actual evidence other than there were 2 guys nearby. They've released their names to the press and the worldwide press, and you're just thinking, fuck. Even if they found nothing, no evidence, nothing substantial to link these people to it, that's your name fucked forever. You're always going to be the guy that was questioned about Madeleine McCann. But the Portuguese police, they absolutely fucked it at the start. Like, just no quick response. The crime scene had been fucking trampled over by all these different officers. Bananas. Can't actually rate it yet because I'm only 4 episodes in, but I think it's going to be a bit. You've seen it already. There's been a lot of folk piping up on Twitter and that talking about it.
So
Cause
it's a strange point to make, though, because our parents have done quite well out of being connected.
oh,
with it.
yes, definitely. That's what I'm saying. We've not got to that part. I'm imagining that's going to be later in the documentary. Is the flip side of it is all the stuff that's been fired on the
Spoiler
McCanns.
alert, she doesn't get found.
Nice.
Yeah, anyway.
Fingers crossed. Weird one. What else?
That is a weird story, though.
It is, man.
I don't think I'm going to watch that.
Thing is, I wish I hadn't started. But like, I think the reason I watched it is because it's one of those things that you scroll past a million different photos and like not memes, but things that have like lists of the evidence against the police, lists of evidence against traffickers, against the McCanns, and you're never sure what's just Facebook fiction and what's actually been released from the report. So I want to get a better understanding because obviously like, the parents did it. The parents did it. It goes, well, I'd like to actually watch it, be presented with some information, and then make my own. Because it's like the Michael Jackson thing. We don't know for sure, but you can only make your opinions based on what you know. So Plus, you got to fill the time somehow.
Are any of the reports of that publicly available?
I think there's probably quite a bit of information that's publicly available. But like, that's why I was quite interested to watch it. It was something I didn't really have an opinion on, other than somebody saying to me, "I was definitely the parent." So I goes, well, as a parent myself, I couldn't imagine doing that. So I'd like to actually see. First things first for me is, why would you leave a 3-year-old in the house by herself, no matter how close you were to the place? That's what baffles me.
Yeah.
I remember
No.
I remember I thought Riley went missing once, years ago. Me and his mum and him had fallen asleep on the sofa after swimming. I wake up, Riley's nowhere, front door's open. I'm fucking fleeing out the door, running round the North Inch, literally bolted round it twice, like shaking people like Harrison Ford, like, where's my wife? Like, have you seen my boy? Where's my fucking son? And then like giving these people no explanation. So just shaking these folk, telling them a 3-year-old's missing, and then bolting off, and there's like, what?
The craziest thing, I'm going to sound like Eddie Bravo here, the craziest one that I've heard is that, in fact, she's not even real, that it's all been a story and a cover made up to allow perhaps MI6, something like that, to funnel millions and millions of pounds in a certain way to move a lot of money. Crazy, eh?
I thought the best
That
one,
is out there.
the best one,
That's out there, but trust me, it's not.
the best one, well, only the wildest one
Outside
I'd
there
heard
was a
wasn't nowhere
possibility.
near as weird to that, was the British government covered up the McCanns doing it because Jerry McCann's one of only 50 specialist heart surgeons in the UK. That's another one. That's Twitter. Spoiler alert, by the way, as well, just to finish it off. Riley had snuck into the towel cupboard because he thought it'd be funny to hide and then fell asleep. And as I was making my third lap of the inch, my
Who doesn't
phone
love
died.
kids?
Went back to the house and they'd phoned them half an hour earlier. But because my phone had died, they couldn't fucking phone me. And I've been running about greeting my eyes out around the inch. Little bastard. Other than that, what the fuck's the song? I found a new band on Spotify. Kind of every now and again they do the Discover playlist and just chucking us up. Sometimes they absolutely fucking kill it. And I got, where was it? A band called LA Symphony. A song called King Kong. I think it's just a duo. It's like a hip hop, sort of old school. It's got a bit of a Wu-Tang, Jurassic 5 type feel. Listen to a couple of their songs, absolutely banging. So the two songs I listened to, I'm going to give a 6 bananas, but it's on my save songs now. I'm going through that album as I can. But LA Symphony, a song called King Kong, absolute banger. Tosh, yourself.
2 episodes from the end of Umbrella Academy. Oh, mate. That is awesome.
So fucking good.
Like, Netflix originals can be variable. Some of them are really good. Some of them are a bit weird. Some of them are awful. Umbrella Academy is just amazing. It is absolutely brilliant.
That's another one I'd recommend to someone who's not massively into like comic book films as well, because it's sort of it's not so much fantasy, but it's outside the norm of like superhero.
It's just a weird world.
Yeah.
It's not the power stuff isn't big. It's not a huge part of it. It's just the setting for this dysfunctional family story.
Yeah. That's effectively what it is, yes. It's not even the superhero bit doesn't even really come into it. It's more
not at all.
the relationships between these people who are superhumans. That and the music's fucking brilliant too.
Oh, the music's awesome. Yeah. And yeah, it's good to get back into something that's not mainstream comic as well.
Yeah.
Because it's Dark Horse, it's a much smaller house, and it's a much smaller sort of story. So that's been awesome. Baptiste on BBC One.
Oh, I've
Have you
heard
seen
about
that?
this.
This is their big Sunday night drama. A couple of years ago, they ran a show called The Missing, about, strangely enough, a young girl getting abducted.
Yeah, I
by a
think my
Serbian
mum
soldier in Germany.
I'm pretty sure Mama Pat's told me about that one.
Yeah. And part of the story of that was this French detective who'd been involved in the original case when she'd first gone missing like 8 years earlier or something. Him, when she reappeared, that was it. They thought that she reappeared, and he got involved in the case again, and it was a really, really weird show. But he was like the most popular character because everyone loves the detective, do they?
Yeah.
So they've started. It's a new series, so it's just him. He now lives in Amsterdam. This guy comes to him saying, "Oh, my niece has been abducted," and it sort of just unravels from there. And it is, again, it's weird, but it's really, really good. It's all about like sex trafficking and remaining in underworld gangs, all that sort of stuff. Folk getting their head chopped off with chainsaws. It's,
Cool.
It's something.
See what
like,
you want about the BBC, man. Some of the dramas that they bounce out are fucking
yeah.
brilliant.
I mean, there was The Bodyguard earlier in the year. That
I heard
was
a lot about that.
awesome. Oh, that's
we
amazing.
talked about it in the last show, and you clapped back about it was Life on Mars.
Life on Mars.
Life
yeah.
on Mars and Ashes to Ashes, man.
They were amazing.
They were quality.
They were
shows.
brilliant.
Fucking love
But
a bit
you
of John
compared
Sim.
yourself to the Gene Genie. I mean,
That was purely because
Come
of the
on.
jacket, man. It was purely because of the jacket. That's all it was. The Genie.
Life on Mars was by far the better. of
Oh
the
yeah,
two.
definitely.
it was. It
yeah.
was. Yeah.
Quality.
But Ashes to Ashes was good as well. Yeah, had its moments.
It's a good point with the BBC. They do make some excellent dramas. They do make some shite.
Oh yeah. But
They're
their ratio of excellent to shite is a lot better than Netflix or ITV.
Yeah. I think it's Netflix. It's just too much on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's
there
just
is.
too much
There
fucking
is.
content.
Oh, also been watching Big Mouth.
I've heard a lot about this. I need to give this a bash.
Oh, you do.
so
It
when
is
we go back,
brilliant.
what are you giving Baptiste Banana wise?
Oh, Baptiste. There's still one show to go, but I give it a solid 7.
Nice.
It'll hold your interest.
Okay.
We'll see how it finishes. It does star Tom Hollander, who I think is just an absolutely phenomenal actor. He's more famous for doing the whole sort of bumbling Englishman thing.
Which one's he again?
He's a wee guy. He's kind of forgettable because he's not really had a lot of lead stuff.
Is he the guy
have
with
you
sort of
seen-
the? He looks like he's got a bit of a Muppet face, kind of
Yeah.
cartoonish
Have you
characters.
seen Rev?
Is he Cockney as well? Is he London, isn't he?
No.
Is he not? I think.
Oh, I think maybe you're thinking of someone else.
Never mind.
Yeah, if you watch the show, you'll see him.
Nice.
But this is kind of the first thing I've seen him do a real lead in, and he is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes from this terrified guy, desperate for anyone to help him, to an absolute maniac.
Nice.
And it's all sort of internal. He knows what he's doing the whole time. Oh, he's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
So, yeah, 7. I would definitely go for 7.
Quality.
Depending on how the last episode turns out, that might go
It's
up
always the risky business, man.
in it. And in terms of listening to nothing sort of new or anything great to reveal, because I just don't tend to get into new music these days. But, it's more sort of the music of the 90s, the mid-90s to the mid-2000s, that's my period.
Big wonder years.
along with 60s and any rock from the 60s on. But recently been listening a lot to Everlast. He was frontman for House of Pain. Released his first album after he had his heart attack back in the 90s, Whitey Ford Sings the Blues.
right.
That is a phenomenal album. That is a total banger and always has been.
Classic.
It is
Nice.
brilliant.
Quality. Andy Muzak. Or anything? Sorry, Stosh. Anything else?
Oh yes, I actually have been reading. Speaking about the comics, I've moved on. I've been reading Higher, Faster, Further, which is the Captain Marvel run that the movie's based on.
Oh, right, yeah. So it was the
Um,
what was the woman's name?
Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Kelly Sue DeConnick. That's
yeah,
it. Yeah.
she is the only writer who writes Captain Marvel in a way that I like.
Yeah.
Because the problem I have with Carol Danvers, it's the similar problem that I have to Superman, actually. I don't like Superman either. And it's because they're too perfect. They're too powerful. They can stop anything. So where's the peril? Where's the interest in this story? But she writes her in a way that she's interesting again. And that's...
She's got an emotional vulnerability
Yeah.
rather than a physical one.
Well, you can mess around with it and find ways to make her physically vulnerable. But yeah, it's more about... It's her voyage of discovery rather than anything else. And yeah, really enjoying that. That is brilliant.
Okay.
So yeah.
Quality. Nice one. Andy Mac.
Nothing.
None.
Too busy again?
I've just been in the studio, mate. I just had the session on just before you guys got here where young Swain, OG Swain. So, yeah, he's got some new stuff coming out. We just did some new stuff. He's got new vids coming out on 1250 TV and that. So, big moves. Recording more stuff with Hannah Smith last week. And, yeah, I haven't... The only thing I've actually sat down to watch was the UFC.
Aye.
on top of that, just my usual shite on YouTube. And
fair
I've got
enough.
5 minutes. So, but honestly, nothing this week.
Busiest man in the business.
So it was a brief one.
Fuck, aye, well, we'll wrap it up. We'll get to some. We've got some business to take care of before we can go home, but that's for the Patreon.
Well, we'll need to give our Patreon subs a wee shout out.
Oh yeah, let me just get. Oh, sorry, Stosh.
I did bring gifts.
Oh,
as
shit.
seems to have become customary when you come on this podcast. at least for the
Tis
first
indeed.
time.
Yes, please do.
So first of all, just one of the things, and you can read about this on my blog.
Excellent.
Get a plug in. One of the things I'm doing this year is a reading challenge, and one of the books I've read is called Defectors by a guy called Joseph Cannon, and it's set in Moscow during the Cold War.
Ooh, that sounds
And
good.
I thought that sounds like an Andy Mack kind of thing.
Yeah.
It does exactly sound like something
So
I
there
would
you
like
go.
to read. Thank you very much.
It is
Nice.
brilliant. It is
Set Moscow
super,
61.
super tense.
Nice. See, I like all this kind of stuff.
That's right
See,
up your alley.
There's the
Yeah.
funny thing, like it's like I don't do fantasy and all that comic kind of stuff. But
No.
if it's still fictional, but it's based in real world events and situation, oh fuck, I'll buy right into that, man. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, look, you should see his wee face, by the way. He's
I
absolutely
love gifts,
buzzing.
man. Plus, like the finish on
nice
that as
wee-
well.
I know, it's really good, isn't it?
Nice. Stosh, thank you very much.
Nice
no
one.
bother, no bother.
I will report back on next week's show.
Also, as part of the beer connoisseur thing, I have, because I remember Dots was posing a couple of weeks ago because Andy Henderson had sent him a free beer 52 case.
Oh, had he?
So he had.
He never told
So
us that, did he?
I have one voucher and one email voucher for beer 52 cases for both of you.
Yes.
So you just have to pay the postage.
All over that.
Stosh,
What a legend.
thank you very
bother.
much,
Nice
mate.
one,
I
bro.
appreciate that,
Fuck,
bro.
aye, man.
I am
Right.
always here to spread
Leather.
the philosophy of
Fuck,
good beer.
aye.
Getting pissed.
Oh, but we'll film that for the Patreon.
I'll
Shall
come
we-
back for that.
Oh yeah, imagine that a drunk live cast. Where we just video it.
I'm drunk every week. I'm not.
Right, shout out to these thick kings and queens. These are our Patreon subscribers.
Whoosh.
Oh, big shout out to Ali Cook, Andy Henderson, the original Maurice creator, Fraser Reevy at Reevy Print, Nate Black at Fair City Jiu Jitsu, and Rachel of Just Being Sound as Fuck.
These are all sound as fuck. Yours are all thick as fuck, and I love it.
Thick, fucking thicker than
Thank
a
you
bowl
very
of
much.
porridge, the lot of it is. Thicker than a bowl of porridge.
So I guess that means we could let them know then that those Patreon subscribers there will get access to a special Claire's Questions this week. And if any of our other listeners want to get involved with that, then you know what to do.
The details are on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm going to wrap it up. And then we'll get into that shit. So
Wrap
thank
it.
you again, Stosh, for coming on. Very much appreciate you. Got something you want to say?
Just you're very welcome. I've enjoyed that.
I thought you were going to read something out. I thought I was stepping on your toes there.
No,
I wasn't
just-
getting wide on nothing.
I'm just trying to
something
find the email voucher for the other one because I can't remember where to put it.
Anyway, I'd say
Jordan's away with the paper one. So she's like, aye,
you got your books.
I'll email you later, mate.
I would say, right, I would have said Andy Mack order these and keep them down here at the studio, but I can't
I'll
for a
fucking
fact
drink them.
they wouldn't make it past the Friday recording session. So
They'll get tanned,
I'm
mate.
taking this for safety.
Tan.
Just for safety. Thank you much, Stosh, man. I appreciate you coming on talking about it. We'll get all your details for your blog and that as well. If you want, we can share that out on the page.
Yeah, I will send you the web address because I don't actually know how to search for it yet.
That's
I
fair.
haven't figured that out. I don't think it's like popular enough to appear on Google in any way.
We'll get you some hits.
Aye, soon, mate.
You can find me on Twitter at StoshLG65, and the links to all of my blogs will go up on Twitter automatically.
Yes.
And
And your beers.
And all my beers go up there, yes. So you might have to trawl a little bit to find them.
I love that. Straight in with the Twitter. So many of our guests, we sit there and go, and what's your sort? And they're like, can't remember. Or no, it
Stosh
doesn't
Kens.
matter.
Stosh
Stosh like,
Kens.
boom, straight in there.
You can find us on Facebook and Podbean, Monkey Sword Fight Podcast. We are Monkey Sword Fight Podcast at gmail.com. I just remember we've got another bro no that I forgot to add. Ian Shepherd, I'm sorry, mate. We'll get to that
We'll
next week.
chuck that in for the subscribers.
Yeah, we'll stick that on right there. Thank you very much for listening.
Sell
Like I say, Monkey Sword Fight Podcast at gmail.com. Find us on Patreon. We are on Twitter at MSF_podcast, and we are on Instagram, Monkey Sword Fight Podcast. Get at us. Thank you to Andy Mack on the ones and twos.
Cheers very much.
Creeping about on Twitter still.
Oh, of course I am. At Macapella.
At Maca fucking Pella. Just Macapella. Don't type in Macafacapella.
Do, because that's where my second account is for the spicy Twitter.
It's my fans only shit.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will speak to you next week. Peace.
Bye.